it's okay to use AI to help with my content. Help with, yes. Write it, no. Mainly because Google can detect AI written content. And AI as a whole, and I'm only talking about like ChatGPT and things like and the more text-based things. Image AI is a whole different topic I'm not going to delve into now, other than my stance on it is no. But that's mainly because of copyright stuff dealing with images. But for tools like ChatGPT or Google's Bard, I actually use them myself. So it would be very hypocritical of me to say like, oh yeah, AI is bad for SEO. Like, no, when used appropriately and ethically, it can be a super effective tool to help you with your SEO content. First and foremost, treat it more as that idea generation tool and maybe even helping you structure some things, but it is never your final draft. And it's not a substitute for creating your own content. So what we'll do here is I'm going to go ahead and give an example of how you can also even kind of shortcut some of the thing. Yeah, I figured. Of course, ChatGPT is not going to cooperate. We hope. Let's find out. Okay. So I'm going to take, so there's going to two ways we can attack this. One is really trying to find what are those like pieces of content that I could write that are underserved topics for your niche. Or if you're a coach that I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like, am I niche too much? Or how can I niche more? Or how can I write content for a specific subset of my audience? This is what you need to pay attention to. This is going to help you. So I've been playing around with some prompts here. And so assuming you're a coach that is specializing in niche, and we're just going to replace niche with a topic. So let's see. Assuming you're a coach specializing in health and wellness, just because that's a topic I'm personally interested in at the moment. And you're starting a blog to sell your offers, please provide me with a list of underserved blog topics to this niche. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to see. Okay, there we go. So ChatGPT is actually going to cooperate. Earlier, when I forgot to hit go live, it was not. So yeah. So we've got this, and you can say like, hey, cool, share more, let's do it. So I'm going to also do the same thing. So you can kind of also get a comparison of Bard and ChatGPT as well. Because one thing to know with ChatGPT is its level of knowledge is cut off as of September 2021. And I believe that's true even for the paid version. And all you're seeing me use is free on this. I'm not, the only tools that you've seen me use the paid versions of is Rank Math and Elementor Pro. Like those are the only two things that have seen money in this. And so you're going to get a little bit more up-to-date stuff with Bard. Experiment with both because I've been hit and miss with both. Always verify the information. Bard's pretty good about like, if you start priming it, like, hey, cite your sources, tell me the sites you link to, it will do that. ChatGPT sometimes does that. It's not really great at it. It might tell you, hey, I can't do that. I'm an AI thing. Ask it again, and then it sometimes will. So just some quick AI pointers there. But the thing I like about this is that you can do different drafts. So I can like switch it up to see how there's different topics. They organize it differently. This draft reads a little bit more like how somebody might type it into a search bar. So, you know, health and wellness for caregivers or grieving or trauma or just any of these would be good. And you can also do mental health tips and things. And the idea is you don't have to start a new chat every time. You can kind of keep it. But I'm going to do this because it's how to cope with stress and anxiety. That's a good one. So that gives us that. So the next prompt I'm going to give it then, because once you pick the draft here, it's going to keep using it. Oh, and apparently you can upload images into Bard. So if you're uploading your own images, that's fine. Which I think you have to pay for that in ChatGPT. So it's up there. Let's see, other questions. Let's see, health and wellness. We are doing stress and anxiety. I'll pretend I'm a health coach for coaches just to kind of ask about, and then you just pick one of the topics. How to cope. And I will say I'm not a health coach. I know nothing about this topic other than may or may not experience it myself. And so I wouldn't, this is an example of like, if you're doing something about a topic you don't know a lot about, it's better not to. So for this one, we can do, family wellness challenges, aging gracefully, eco-friendly wellness. Like there are these biohacking. Biohacking is interesting. So we'll do like as our questions. Let's say woman. I am one. I'm going to ask about how I'm picking topics that they provided, so that way I'm kind of keeping the conversation going. Biohacking for beginners. We'll keep that one going. All right, and so over here we've got questions. So these are the questions that I would want to address in my SEO content for the best ways to manage stress and anxiety, all of that. And so just the things that it's kind of spitting out are really, because it's getting your juices flowing when it comes to creativity. Because honestly, like AI has been the thing that's helped me get unstuck the most probably in my business lately, just because ideally you'll also prime this with like, this is, a little bit about my background, what brought me to this, who I am, like your more mission, vision, values type thing, a little bit about your brand story and all that and who you serve. And because the more you kind of prime it and then feed it these questions, the better your answers are going to be. So now that we've got this one, and then please present me with questions. I think I said, did I say coaches? Coaches, yeah, coaches. This with buying intent, which buying intent is like looking to hire or buy a course or program related to stress and anxiety. And then, and then this is going to be, and so see how it's given me, here's biohacking, how does it apply to women's health, all this information. That's really cool. And then it's going to help me generate more questions with women. If I'm incorrectly, that would be awesome. Related to, and then you just replace the topic, biohacking for beginners. And then it provides you questions there. So we've got some of that. And so these are buying intent. And then if you have something that's like, I only serve people in local area, then that's what you would kind of use there. We can also do this from kind of a bottom up approach from like, here, what's the niche? And then kind of, working our way out into the keywords. So for that, I will just do this. I'll put in this. And so, can you please provide a list of keywords? Oh, hang on. I don't want both of those at the same time. I only want one of those. So please provide a list of keywords in the anxiety. Oh, anxiety coaching niche. And then we'll do this one. Just because you see, this is really just so you can see how fast this is. And bio be and so you can see like here's a bunch of the keywords, and these are things that like if you didn't want to do the keyword research at the beginning, like you can start with this. The reason I showed you that first instead of the fast way is because I wanted you to understand like how to think about it and go through it. But this is where you can kind of start to do this. And then so what we're seeing here are what I would kind of consider to be head terms. And again, that's the broad term that's being used to describe. So for me, SEO would be considered a head term, but SEO for coaches would be considered a long tail keyword. And so that's actually the next prompt. I'm going to feed it real quick just so we can kind of see and go through and get more. And then now that we've got our lists, one of my favorite things about AI is the fact that it can help you group things, because then that kind of gives you your structure where it's like you have this pillar of like, we're going to talk about this pillar, and then these are the little tangents we're going to go out on from there. And then, oops, come here. And again, remember with Bard, you can always like have it view other drafts to see if there's ones that might be more relevant to you. That's probably my favorite thing about Bard is the options. So we'll go with this one just because I see time management in there. And then now that it's grouped, you can see that, you know, this one, so biohacking for specific goals. Like this could be a really cool series that you could do, or you know, the basics. This would probably be a really good post, as well as some different options for things or naming. And then you can also ask it was like, cool, for this blog post on this, give me, you know, 10 different headline ideas. You can kind of mix and match and pick the best. Like, again, you're using this. You can also say provide an outline for basics for beginners. Actually, let's do this. Hacking basics for let's pick fitness. So please provide an outline for this. And then it gives you an outline. You can take it, use it, have it, tweak it. Like you give this feedback so that way it helps you kind of craft it a little bit better or structure things. Because I don't know about you, sometimes I have like 70 billion ideas all at once. You just brain dump in this, say like, hey, help me organize these ideas. Boom, done. And you're able to get kind of that next clarity step and just move on. So yeah, I mean, you could easily, like following an outline like this, you can easily hit most things that rank well tend to be north of the 1,000 word mark. That's not a hard and fast rule by any stretch of the imagination. This is not your high school or college level class where it's like, you're going to write me a 10-page essay on this. And if it's less than 10 pages, I'm like, even though you can make your point and a valid argument in 5, this is not academic style writing. You want to write clear, you want to write concisely, and you want to write in a way that your readers can understand. So again, don't write just, or don't be wordy for wordy's sake. So don't be verbose. Just make your points and do that. I say that and I ramble sometimes.